Hi guys, welcome back. We're on to part 3. You guys, because I'm not editing these, this is going by so much faster, so I can actually get these out to you. Okay, this is fantastic. We could literally watch Kristen chain smoke cigarettes for freaking hours. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Sam. I'm a pop culture commentary channel, but I also like to do recaps, and we've been recapping Vanderpump Rules from the beginning, okay, from season dose. Okay, if you guys want me to do season 1, I can, but I kind of like skip season 1 because I feel like everybody and their mother watched that season after the kerfuffle craziness of season 10. So I didn't feel like I needed to recap that, but I'm happy to do it. We have 3 more seasons after this one, guys. Because I am not doing season 9. Let me tell you right now, that is the most boring season of Vanderpump Rules ever. And then like, maybe, I don't know. I'm probably not going to do 10 or 11 either. So, but we're on season 5 right now, and we're recapping, and we're on episode 8, okay? I feel like I'm reading like a Christmas like carol to you guys. I'm like, once upon a midnight dreary, as I pondered weekend weary. I'm not. All right, so we left off on episode 7, where Sheena and Katie got angry at each other at that pool party. And Katie, you know, was drunk and was like, I need you like a fucking bug. Okay, that's where we kind of left off. So now we're on to episode 8, and we meet Katie's mom and grandma. Katie was, we find out, was born in Utah, and about 4 years ago, her parents got divorced, and her mom moved to Vegas to live near her grandmother. So that's why when we go to season 10, and they go to Vegas, and the whole like Rachel hooking up with Garcelle's son happens, and Katie's mom's there, that's because she lives in Vegas. Peter texts Kristen about Lala having a Range Rover, and that there's about 3 different stories as to how that Range Rover came to be. One is like a boyfriend, one's my mom paid for it, one's I paid for it. Like, it can never just say consistently. Like, if you're gonna lie, just keep the lies consistent and keep them very simple so people cannot like get in on them, okay, and mess them around and like hold you accountable, girl. Like, learn how to lie. Like, dear God. Katie's grandma does not believe that the Range Rover is Lala's because the payment is about $700 a month, and she knows this because apparently I'm assuming Katie's mom's brother had or has a Range Rover and knows how much the monthly payments are. So she calls bullshit, which is really funny and really cute. Her grandmother's so adorable. Kristen says the only thing that she knows about the Hamptons, because they're all about to go to the Hamptons, and which is where we're going to get the summer house connection started, is Diddy, which is like, yikes, and Bethany Frankel, which again, yikes. Katie has become pretty much a massive bridezilla, which I would agree, like, you know, some of the stuff is clearly Schwartz being an asshole, but some of it is just Katie being an asshole, and she's just a complete bridezilla, and all the girls are just like bowing down to her. I continue to be obsessed with Sheena's decor in her home. Her home is just it's what a true narcissist home should look like. Just huge canvases printed out at your local print store of you and your husband, or sometimes just you. Some of the pictures in there are just Sheena, which is even funnier. James started his new DJ gig, and Lala, Tom, and Ariana come to visit him and watch it. Lala tells Tom and Ariana that she's concerned about going on this birthday trip to Sonoma for Ariana's birthday because she doesn't want to be kind of like locked in a small place. Mind you, they don't know that they're going to be in an RV. Okay, so all of this is finding out that they're going to be in an RV altogether. But Lala doesn't really want to be like in close quarters at all with Jax, and is very, very nervous. And Tom and Ariana have said multiple times, like, we're not going to let Jax talk shit about you. We're not going to let him be mean to you. So, like, if he says anything or does anything, like, we're going to call him out. Which I actually did believe that. 1000% believe that. And I do wish that Lala would have gone on it because it would have been really funny to watch them all fight about that. Kristen and Jax go boxing together, and Kristen says that their relationship is like stepbrother and stepsister who've slept together. That's disgusting. Their relationship is so creepy, and you know what it gives? It gives, what's that movie? What was that Hallmark movie? It's a book too. It's like Flowers in the Attic or something. It gives that vibes. It gives those vibes. Their relationship is so toxic, so disgusting, but they're meant to be together, and we all know this. Jax has some new lumps in his chest that he's going to be getting surgery for. And this is from, you know, all the dumb crap that like the protein shakes and all the dumb shit he's gotten to kind of be like jacked and big. Now there's like big lumps. Mind you, they do the surgery later, and we'll talk about that. It's disgusting. Jax clocks that the witches of WeHo and how he clocks that the witches of WeHo only really have one brain and calls Kristen out about it. And the one thing that makes me laugh about Jax is that he's one of those people that truly, because he's so toxic, he can spot a toxic person from a fucking mile away, because he's so devious and like just a complete ass face. He can spot one from a mile away. So like that's why he always has Kristen's number and he always has the girls' numbers, because he's just like that too. He's also a drama queen as well. Katie goes to LVP's to drop off her wedding invitation along with the summer car that Lisa Vanderpump has. And Lisa Vanderpump calls the invites unique, bohemian, aka she hates them, they're ugly, they're disgusting, which cracks me up because I thought that Pandora's invitations were like very cheap looking and very just like, you know, when something is too glittery and too glamorous and too shiny to the point that it looks tacky, that was the vibes that I got from that. LVP says Katie has changed since Stassi has come back, and LVP is concerned that Katie isn't thinking for herself and needs to be better to Sheena. And I mean, I do definitely agree with it. I just think that Sheena's kind of like the easy target to bitch and complain at and to go at than like Kristen and Stassi for some reason. And so she just kind of, I think she takes a lot of her anger from Schwartz out on Sheena because they behave in similar ways sometimes. I don't know. I just feel like Sheena's just become like a punching bag essentially for Katie. Jax and Brittany go get Jax his new boob job, and they talk about all the surgeries that they've had. So he's had 2 nose jobs. They've now each had a boob job, which is hilarious. They take out, I'm not joking, you guys, when they do the surgery, they go in the surgery room because why not? Obviously, the surgeon wants to be a reality TV star, and it's the same one that they've used over and over and over again, Dr. Lakey. And excuse me, drinking soda while doing this video, stupid idea. Okay, so they take it out. I'm not joking, you guys. They take out a coaster size of whatever inside of him. I was like, oh, they're going to take like a pebble out and Jack's going to be like, I have cancer, I'm dying, like he did that a couple seasons ago. Nope, they took out a giant disc of, I don't know what the hell it was, and they had to test it for cancer or whatever. It wasn't cancerous. All good things. And Dr. Lakey comes in and checks on Jax, and he goes up to Jax and touches his shoulder and goes, you did great, babe. Babe? Something's going on. Jax is doing something for Dr. Lakey, or Dr. Lakey is doing something for Jax. We're in cahoots. Someone needs to look that up. What's Dr. Lakey up to these days? Jax wakes up and of course he has to grab Brittany's boobs. Duh. What else would you do when you wake up from a surgery? You grab your girlfriend's boobs. Duh. The ones that you paid for, obviously. Lala is at work and wearing red Louis Vuittons, and LVP questions where she got those and is constantly questioning literally everything that Lala's always getting questioned by everybody. And then she never has a good enough excuse. She says she buys her own stuff. And it's like, but you don't. Like, you're not modeling that much. Let's be for freaking real, please. You're seating people at a restaurant. You don't make that much money. So, like, you cannot afford Louis Vuittons, actually. Let's be actually for fucking real right now. Lala's getting concerned about having to be close quarters with Jax and Tom. And you can kind of tell that you could tell that something was going to happen. Obviously, we find out later that she doesn't show up to the Sonoma trip, which pisses everybody off. And you could just tell really quickly that something like that was going to happen. Like, you could tell that she was just not vibing, not feeling it. She was feeling off about it, and that she was going to have some excuse about it. I don't necessarily 1000% believe that it had to do with being with Jax. I think some of it had to do with she wanted to go be with, Randall or whatever. But, I mean, who knows? Raquel and James meet up for lunch. Rachel talks about her pageants, and James discusses how his parents' divorce has been very, very hard on him, and getting fired has been extremely hard for him as well, which I do believe. I don't not believe that about him. I just think the way that he handles those situations is absolutely horrible. Rachel's very supportive of James and very much like pick me energy. She really, listen, for all this chick's flaws, she rode hard for James and stuck up for him so much and was always on his side. And, some of that is admirable. Some of it is wow, good for you being by your guy, supporting him and loving him. But on the other hand, it's at what point are you gonna not put up with his bullshit? Which eventually, obviously, she didn't put up with it anymore, but the Toms go and check on Jax after his surgery and get him training bras and a Hooters t-shirt and also a bell to ring for Brittany, which Brittany, you knew, wanted to kill both of them when she saw that, because that man was going to use that bell 24/7, 365, because, you know, make me a sandwich, get up and make your own fucking sandwich. Like, let's be for real, please. These women are getting boob jobs, and what are they doing? Getting up. People are having C-sections. People are giving birth and are going back out into society immediately. Shut up. Nikolai and Stassi's mom, Dana, come to stay with her, and Dana is a super drama queen. Dana is a psycho. Dana is an extreme drama queen in this in multiple seasons of Vanderpump Rules. I don't know how she is now, obviously, but she's pissed that Stassi doesn't have central air, which makes me crack up because I forget that people that live in California, because it's like so warm or whatever, that some places don't have central air, and I feel like that is actually a true crime. I think every house moving forward should have central air, especially in California. I'm confused. Like, that apartment must be older, that the fact that it doesn't have central air in California. So she just has like a little like a window AC, and Dana is not having that. Stassi and Patrick are not together again. In the last 2 years, they've been on and off to the point that they have become pretty much a joke. Sheena really wants to be a bridesmaid and feels like she has to go to the Hamptons, and her mom says she needs to keep the peace and make everything better so that she stays a bridesmaid. And I don't know if Sheena's mom is definitely giving me like pageant mom. Like, we have to stay in the competition, we have to do whatever it takes to win type of vibe. We have to stay on the show no matter what. And if that means we have to be with the, you know, popular girls, and if we have to be a bridesmaid, then so be it. Like, that's definitely 1000% Sheena's mom's essence. Very much JoJo Siwa's mom, that type of shtick going on there. Nikolai calls Stassi out and says stop drinking and stay out of people's business, and tells her to stop being a bully, which that's the facts, Jack. Like, tell me what was wrong about that statement. Nikolai's like the smartest person in the entire fucking group here. Sandoval is trying to make up for last year's horrible birthday with Ariana by going when he went to Vegas and, you know, wanted to play with dump trucks because he's a child, and he thinks this is going to make up for it. And it's like, well, this is the thing, is like, Sandoval is like the ultimate love bomber in every part of his life, and he does it as a tit for tat. And I've said this so many times. He will love bomb the absolute shit out of you to throw it back in your face later when he does a horrible thing. So he does this horrible thing where he goes to Vegas when Ariana needed him. Her dad only passed away 2 years ago. It was really hard for her, and he went there. So he's like, oh, okay, now I'm going to love bomb the absolute shit out of her so she forgets about that. And then that never gets brought up again. And then that'll also save me for the next time I fuck up and mess up. And that's what he does. It's like bad choice, love bomb. Bad choices, love bomb. Fuck things up, love bomb. Cheat on you, love bomb. Like, that's what he does because he thinks that the love bombing will make up for his bad choices. That's what he's always done. He's a sicko. James comes to Sir and tries to talk LVP into getting his job back. LVP defends Jax and that he isn't been fired, and that Jax hasn't been fired because he hasn't been disrespectful to LVP at work, which is rich to me. Like, so you're not firing Jax because he's been an asshole to everybody else, but he hasn't been one to you. And then, but you're going to fire James because James has been an asshole to you and everybody else. Like, it doesn't make any... First of all, Jax should have been fired a million times. He's fucking stolen. If you don't think for 1 second that him stealing stuff from, you know, Sir hasn't come down to him stealing money, come on. This man has probably stolen money from the restaurant. And I don't disagree with James for bringing that up and being like, okay, you're going to fire me, but you're not going to fire Jax, who instigates me all the time and brings shit up on camera all the time. I don't disagree with James on that. LVP says work is much better without James and that he needs to find a new career and he needs to stop being a DJ. And as we all know, that's not going to happen. I just saw a video from the other day. I'm pretty sure he was in Vegas doing something like a residency or some shit like that. So he's thriving. He's living. He's breathing. He's having the best time right now. So 2 birthday trips we are going on at once. Ariana's crew are going to go to the airport. They're going to get ready to go, and they're going to Sonoma. The Witches of WeHo plus Sheena are going to be going to the Hamptons. And so the next, I think, episode or 2, that is the whole thing. It is just the back and forth of Sonoma and the Hamptons. Sonoma and the Hamptons. We end episode 8 with Ariana's crew going to the airport, and Lala has not shown up and is not answering any calls, texts, or anything. And everybody's very concerned and upset right now. So that's kind of where we leave off there. All right, so now we are on to episode 9. So Ariana's crew lands, and Lala texts Ariana an apology with no explanation as to why she is not there. Just a very blanketed text message. Tom and Ariana end up surprising everybody with an RV, and the guys are super excited. The girls are kind of like, and by girls, I mean like Brittany. And everybody is very concerned about Jax pooping and all the boys farting the whole time because it's going to smell really, really bad. They were not wrong. It smelled horrible, they kept saying. Sandoval isn't out of the parking lot and has already smashed the roof of the RV. Can't even make it out of the parking lot without making a dent out of it. So I'm sure he paid for that. Also, the way that I know that they destroy their hotel rooms on this show, I can't even imagine what that RV looked like. It probably looked like Death Con 5. Sandoval is in, okay, I already said that. Stassi's 28th birthday, and this series of episodes is when we start meeting the cast from Summer House, and that, again, it's very much the, like, it's very much like the Real Housewives going into Vanderpump Rules vibe, same kind of thing. They show up to the Hamptons, and Sheena and Kristen room together, and Katie and Stassi room together. I would love to know more about Kristen, because Kristen apparently is like I think season 6 is when we start finding out that Kristen is the worst roommate ever. Tom and Ariana are pissed that Lala didn't show up because they had VIP tickets, and they could have used that. They could have given that VIP ticket to Sheena, and Sheena could have gone with them. And so they're kind of pissed off about that. Brittany and Jax are already fighting, and she is pissed that Jax didn't sit with her on the plane, which cracks me up because there's a season. I don't remember if this was before or after. I think it might be next season when they go on a trip, and Schwartz gets moved up to first class, but Katie doesn't, and Katie asks to switch and says, you know, like trade with me. Ew, not me drooling. Asked to trade with her, and he's like, no, it's fine. He's a demon. He loves to piss her off. I'm telling you guys, it is a game for him to piss her the fuck off. He loves it. So Brittany calls Sheena to tell her that Lala didn't show up. Brittany says that she's living her redneck fantasy in this little trailer that they have. And it's crazy to me that LVP acts like she doesn't know anything going on with the show, but she's a producer. Like, she acts shocked when she finds out that Lala didn't go to Sonoma. But it's like, girl, you knew. Don't sit there and act like you didn't know. You knew that she didn't go to Sonoma. Like, LVP knows that everything that's going on. So when she, like, sits on camera and it's like, so tell me what's going on. You know what went on. What are you talking about? This isn't like Housewives, where she wasn't a producer and she got gooped and gagged. She knew everything that was going on. Like, Lisa Vanderpump is never going to not know what's going on her own television show. That's just not going to happen. Ariana says she's not going to get upset with Lala until she knows why she didn't come, which is just another example of how Ariana always gave Lala the benefit of the doubt and always tried to support her before she went out and just started talking shit about her. She always found a way to have grace for her and have her back, okay? Stassi is living the it's my birthday vibes. Jax took his bra off after 5 days and in the RV, and everybody says it smells like sweat and death. And that doesn't surprise me either, because Jax, I guarantee you Jax smells like some type of protein shake, cigarette smoke, and his breath has like some type of alcohol essence coming out of it. His pores probably have alcohol coming out of it. Ariana and crew show up to a winery in the trailer. So very demure, very cutesy. They decide to do the lowest, so they're all sitting together and they decide to do the lowest card. Whoever picks the lowest card, they have to drink the spit bucket of wine, which is so fucking gross. And it wasn't just theirs, it was there beforehand too. So it's like diseases. It's been sitting, so even thinking about it, so disgusting. And of course, who loses? The birthday girl. Ariana ends up doing it. And again, this is when Ariana was like living her best fantasy and being like the cool girl, and she did it, and it's disgusting. Kristen says that she's, of course, in the perfect relationship, and she's, you know, so in love with Carter, and she's amazing, and then starts talking shit about Stassi, and Stassi gets super triggered, and she's like, oh my god, like, I'm single, like, you're married, you're engaged, you're so happy in your relationship, and I'm just, like, alone. Like, this whole season was Stassi just bitching and complaining about how she's not with Patrick anymore. And it's like, girl, be good you aren't with Patrick anymore. He was a demon. He was a demon person. He is so horrible. He was the absolute worst human on the planet. I hated Patrick, if you guys couldn't tell. Sheena says it's very interesting how Stassi has kind of fallen from grace and she's come back to, back from New York City. And you can tell that Sheena's really loving Stassi's fall from grace. She's very much enjoying it. She's very much loving it. And I don't blame her necessarily. But yeah, she's thriving at the fact that Stassi has nobody, got dumped. But you can also tell that she's really pissed off and frustrated that, like, it basically took, like, a blink for her to come back on the show and be best friends with Katie again when Sheena was there for Katie the whole time. I forget that Ariana is from Florida and Jax is from Florida, I believe. There's a lot of Floridians. I think, is Jax from Florida? I know Schwartz is from Florida. This explains a lot. Okay, I'm not going to lie. James has been sober for about 2 weeks, and now his new obsession is ice cream instead of alcohol. So every time he gets a craving for alcohol, he goes and has ice cream. And for him, that works because he's so tiny and thin and a twink and doesn't gain any weight at all. But if I did that, if I was an alcoholic, I would be a hippo. That vibe would not work for me. James meets up with Arthur, who used to work, and I think he was a manager at SUR at one point, and now has his own place that he manages, like a hotel, I guess, like a restaurant bar vibe in a hotel. And Arthur wants James to dig a little bit deeper into why he's been drinking so much, and that they kind of go back and forth and talk about James coming and doing a residency with him and kind of have that conversation instead of, you know, you can tell that Arthur really wants him to get better and make some changes before he goes and jumps on the next thing, and that the whole, like, eating ice cream isn't good enough. He actually needs to, like, seek help. He really should go to therapy. The guys meet up on top of the RV, and Sandoval starts complaining about how he has to jerk off and isn't having any sex. I need to have sex because I need to have sex. And, like, apologizes to Jeremy because Jeremy's there too, Ariana's brother. It's like, I'm sorry. And he's like, it's fine, I know. Like, you guys are, you know, whatever. And he's like, just so upset, so complaining, so pissed off, and it's just like he's like, all I can do is like jerk off. We just have sex like all the time, and like now we never do. And like, I need it, you guys, I need it. He's like, actually, like if he doesn't have sex, he can't breathe. Like if he doesn't have sex for the day, he's literally gonna have to go to the hospital and get oxygen put into his lungs. Like, shut the fuck up. And again, you guys, I am convinced that this is when he cheated for the second time that we are aware of. I think he cheated way more than 3 times in total, but I think this is around the time he must have cheated the second time. And I need you guys to fact check this shit for me. I need you guys to figure out who the hell this girl is. I am committed to figuring out who girl cheater number 2 is, okay? Oh, you don't know. Oh, I'm not going to say who it is. I want to know, mother trucker, okay? Jax admits to trying to sabotage his relationship with Brittany, and Brittany admits that Jax likes to have her jog up and down like the street and then come back and like suck on her stinky toes. It's gross. And he's definitely sabotaging the relationship like 1000%. Like, she's too good for him and he doesn't know how to handle that, and he's so used to moving from the next one to the next one to the next one. And then clearly that's why he cheated on her for the second time, for the first time is because he was just like, oh, I've been in a relationship for too long, I can't handle this, and has to go cheat on somebody, obviously. And the way that he cheats on her, diabolical. I can't even. The girls go to a bar, and every guy that comes up to them is either drunk and ugly, but this bartender named Laertes, he's from Greece, he starts talking to Katie, and they kind of like hit it off with each other, and Stassi's just like, Katie, you're the worst wing woman on the absolute fucking planet. You're about to get married, and you're finding a guy faster than I am, which was really cute and funny. Sandoval says he never sees Ariana drink and that he loves seeing her drink, which is so disgusting. It's so disgusting. And I think the reason why he wanted her to drink more, he wanted to do more stuff with her, and this discussion comes up again in season 10. that the reason why he wanted to do that is because she was more loosey-goosey and then he could take advantage of her, which is exactly what he did with Rachel. He got her to do, do your UGs. He got her to drink more, and then she would agree with more things and do more things with him, and that's what he wants. He's a predator. He's disgusting. He finds people that he can manipulate and do things so that way he gets what he wants. He's disgusting. He's gross. He is a pig man. LVP has James come into STIR to find out what is going on with Lala, and James is like so excited because he thinks like something fun, like, oh, I'm gonna get my job back. No, she's just trying to get the tea. And James says that her boyfriend scares her and always keeps an eye on her, and the night before the trip she was talking about being excited to go, but that like apparently he like always has an eye on her, is like staking out her house all the time, and like Lala's always scared of like if he's paying attention or not. And it's like one of those things where it's like, is that true or is Lala full of shit? I don't know. Okay, I have no clue. Katie is loving how everybody is realizing how Lala is a liar, and Stassi thinks Lala was abducted by tall gray aliens. And again, anytime Stassi can insert her thoughts and opinions on ghosts, aliens, murder, she's going to do that. Sandoval and Ariana talk about last year's birthday and how Tom left on her 30th birthday and how this year is better, and Tom wants her to know how special that she is. Whatever, you liar. I would never stay in a trailer with Jax. Number 1, it is super smelly. Number 2, trash everywhere. Number 3, you know that man is going to find a way to do some type of sexual encounter with Brittany. And also, you know that Tom is trying to do that with Ariana when she's drunk, which is disgusting and borderline. I question the consent level. On Stassi's B day, the ladies get naked and jump in the water. They do this every single year for her birthday. This is like a tradition, but Sheena does not want to go, which is so funny because what ends up happening is there's this lighthouse that's going around with this giant light, and there's a bar, like restaurant, like right next to where they are, and the light just flashes right on their bare naked butts while they're jumping into the water, and the whole restaurant sees and starts clapping for them. I was like, that's what you get. And Sheena's smart. Sheena's smart. Episode 10. Second day of girls trip in the Hamptons. Katie's got hammered and gave Stassi a lot of shit when they were out. Stassi and Patrick are together for 3 years, and she just wants to make out with somebody at this point. Back in Sonoma, and the RV is absolutely disgusting. Jax and Brittany are constantly arguing. Jax is being a complete asshole to her. The guys try to open the shower and expose Jax. Obviously, we always got to show each other's peepees off. Brittany goes to take a shower, and Jax took all the hot water, so Brittany now has to rinse off with all the dirty, nasty water bottles that are in the trailer. And then Jax is giving her shit for not showering fast enough. She's showering with water bottles, bro. What the hell do you expect from her? It turns, the twins are throwing this clam bake, and none of the girls know what a clam bake is, and they're kind of like looking it up. And of course, Sheena and Kristen, they hate seafood. I hate cracking shells with my nails. I can't. It's so disgusting. Anything with a head and eyes and I have to eat, I can't handle that. Shut up, Sheena. Shut up. Austin Dillon, Sandoval brings his flat iron and has the driver, Austin Dillon sign his flat iron. I guess the boys like dared him or something like that, and he's like, yeah. So he brings his flat iron and has a race car driver sign it, which is like doing too much. Do we think Katie is actually Lisa's assistant, or do we think that this is cosplaying? Like, same with Stassi. It's like when Stassi was her assistant, I'm like, I just don't believe it. I think this is just a stupid ass storyline to like basically put in some filler content, and honestly to keep LVP a part of the conversation at all times. So the Summer House cast is as follows from this episode. We see Ashley and Lauren, we see Steven, Carl, Lindsay, Kyle, Christina, and Everett, and they all come down. They work. So the premise of Summer House, which I'm sure most of you know, is that they work during the week, 5 days a week, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and they all come down to the Hamptons. They rent out this big house, and they all hang out for the whole weekend. Every single weekend has a theme and a party, and they go hang out and they go do stuff, and that's kind of like the gist of this. They're all friends. They work in the city together. So you have these like little moments of where you get to see them in the city, but for the most part, you see them at their summer house. Get it? Summer house, guys. Do you get it? The girls try the food, and Sheena and Kristen are whining and do not want to eat anything. Sheena also complains it's too much work to be cracking the shells open. I shouldn't have to work that hard to eat my food. It's like, okay, what do you want? Like, are you going to drink all your food? Like, are we doing smoothies? Are we doing slushies? Like, what's going on? Guys get back to the RV and the toilet is clogged, so they have to get that all suckered out because God only knows. I guarantee you it's not just poop and pee-pee that is in that toilet. I bet you there's vomit in that toilet. I bet you there are condoms in that toilet. I bet you there are inanimate objects in that toilet, okay? I don't doubt anything that is in that toilet. Carl starts hitting on Stassi, and Kristen asks if anybody has slept together, and the whole group looks at her like, no? Like, what? That's what I wanted them to be like. I wanted somebody who had seen Vanderpump Rules to look at Kristen and just be like, no, we're not you guys. We don't fuck each other. We don't literally screw our best friend's girlfriend, sister, brother, cat, dog. Like, some people have boundaries. Okay, clearly you don't have any of those, Kristen. Like, that was so funny to me. I think that Stassi should have hit on Carl a lot more instead of Kyle. Of course, Carl was super toxic at this time and was going through drug and drinking issues. But Kyle is like the absolute fucking worst. He's still the worst in my opinion, but Stassi says that she normally goes after someone like Carl, and I was like, what? Do you? I'm confused. So she goes after Kyle instead, and in my opinion, the guys that she's been dating have been Kyle's, but that's just me, okay? That's just me. The Sonoma crew goes out for dinner. And Sandoval said that he's never seen Ariana eat pasta. And I'm like, what? You've never seen your girlfriend eat pasta? Not macaroni, not spaghetti, not anything? Which makes me really want lasagna real bad. I want like a delicious veggie lasagna with like a white sauce. Oh my God, that would be so good right now. So Jack says that he's supporting Brittany's lifestyle and Brittany should make him a sandwich. Jack says he doesn't need relationship advice from the other people in the group and that Brittany is becoming more of an LA girl and he does not like that. Ever since she's been out here with all these LA girls, she has become more like them. And what that dials down to me is that he wanted to date her because he thought that he was going to get a housewife. He thought he was going to get a little country girl that wanted to pop out babies, make dinners, and always be there for him. And then she came to LA and became more independent and realized that she didn't need to be like that, that she could be her own person and have her own thoughts and opinions. And he does not lack that, okay? He wanted a Southern girl, and that is not what he got, okay? When he went in and got the Barbie shipping receipt, it said that they were going to come with making sandwiches, and she did not come with that. And he's very upset by that. So he's very disturbed by that, and he's just being a literal asshole to her at dinner in front of everybody, like to the point that it is so uncomfortable how nasty and rude and gross he is being to her, and he's coming off like the biggest prick on the planet. So Lala stopped following Ariana on social media, and so Ariana was like, you're gonna stop following me on social media? I'm gonna stop following you on social media. Watch this. Like, I don't know what was going on. I'm assuming Lala must have been like posting pictures or something and didn't want Ariana to see it. It was just so... Lala, like, the more I watch seasons go by, the more you see that Lala has been the absolute fucking worst to Ariana, and Ariana has been so good to her. So it's just rich to sit there and watch Lala, like, blame a ton of shit on her, like, current day, when clearly you've always been a bad friend to Ariana. Always. Back at Sir, Lala shows up and talks to Lisa. Lala shut her phone off and went into shutdown mode. Lala said she didn't want to be around Jax, and everybody is spreading rumors about her, and it's become too much for her to handle. LVP thinks that Lala loves to create a situation, but can't handle the aftermath of it, which I 1000% agree. Lala says she's going to quit, but LVP tells her to grow up, and not everybody will always like her. She says if Lala quits, she will let the girls win, so Lala ends up deciding to stay there and work. And I'm just like, okay, we all know you were going to stay there and work. Like, cut the shit. Like, I'm sorry, there's no way in absolute hell that Lala was going to stop being on this television program. Not literally one person could convince me that Lala wasn't going to continue to be on this show. Lala just likes drama. She just likes the tea. She likes to be in the drama. She likes to be the drama. She wants everybody to talk about her. That's what she wants. Ariana is talking to Brittany about how Jax is super misogynistic, and Brittany does not know what that word means. Brittany's like, what's misogynistic? Which was cute and funny. It's cute when Brittany does it. It's dumb when everybody else does it. The girls go to the summer house in the Hamptons, and Kyle is crushing on Stassi. Everybody is hammered, and Stassi has this turtleneck bathing suit on that basically is completely see-through, but you can see her giant nipples. It was a choice. It was a fashion choice. It just was a very weird bathing suit. I'm not really sure why she picked it. Like, beyond the whole, like, making fun of her for looking like Steve Jobs, I just don't understand why she would choose this bathing suit. Google it. It was a choice. It's crazy how Jax and Brittany are fighting about Jax making more money than Brittany, and she should appreciate him more, but now Brittany makes more money and has been the breadwinner for a while, especially when he got fired in season 8. Katie turns into Tequila Katie and is shoving cake in people's faces and acting super crazy, and Sheena is so pissed off and like hates Tequila Katie, because apparently this is what Katie does. When she drinks too much tequila, she acts like a wacko psychopath, and she makes really poor choices, and she starts being an asshole. And apparently this is part of Tequila Katie, is shoving cake in people's faces. Stassi and Kyle are in the hot tub together, and Kyle is completely smashed to the point that he is blurring his, slurring, just blah, 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 and talking randomly or whatever. He keeps forgetting Stassi's name and keeps repeating it over and over and over again, then calls her Steve Jobs with a turtleneck bathing suit. Stassi starts getting sarcastic and starts telling Kyle how to make a girl feel special. He then walks away, and he says he sees her nipples and that he loves it. Stassi tells everybody what happens with Kyle and says she's never been more turned off in her entire life, which I agree with that. The twins say Kyle is actually really great and just not drunk. And it's like, no. Kyle sucks when he's drinking. He sucks when he's not drinking. It doesn't matter what's going on. Kyle sucks. It's that simple. There's no like on and off switch. It's like, oh, he's actually really great. No, he's not. He's not great. 2 a.m. Everybody's in the kitchen and Kyle is drunk, pointing at everyone and making fun of Stassi. Stassi calls him out and says he's a douche and asks him to stay away from her. But says also, can you say my name? What is my name? And he's like, Stassi. And it's like, you could have gone like, and Kyle would have fallen over. That's how drunk he was. The girls get on an Uber and they end up heading home. Episode 11. Everybody is back from their trips, and Katie meets up with LVP to go over new CERT dresses. LVP is in a sweater and jeans, and she literally looks absolutely fucking gorgeous. This woman is so stunning. It's so fucking frustrating. I don't know how old she was. I think she was in her 50s or 60s this season, and she's just in like this cute little sweater and these cute little pair of jeans, and I'm like, this woman could look amazing in like a paper bag. She's just so beautiful. Everybody, I already said that. Katie is having her bridal shower and is inviting LVP. All the bridesmaids plan everything for her. Brittany's mom is coming into town. Lala comes into work to talk to Tom and Ariana. She says she was scared to go with everybody. Lala says she thought they were putting her in the lion's den on purpose. And Ariana said she would have shut that down so quickly, and that they have been incredible friends to Lala, and they're very, very disappointed. And she's like, all I can say is just like, I'm sorry. All I can say is just like, I'm sorry. And it's like, no, you're an asshole. People plan this entire trip. There's like planes involved. Planes, trains, buses, automobiles, another bar, another concert. Like they planned everything very VIP, okay? And for you to just be like, I'm not coming. Like that was what she, like Lala just thinks the world fucking revolves around her ass. Kristen is in a comedy troupe, which is something. And they end up having a show that everybody ends up going to. So we flash back to Ariana, who takes sketch comedy very seriously, and she and Tom are not going to the sketch comedy performance. So Kristen's doing this sketch called the Hung app, and it transforms dick pics into art. And Katie notices very quickly that one of the pictures that they have transformed is a picture of Jax Taylor's penis. Yes, my friends, Lava Dick is alive and well. Jax admits later on that was his penis, and that was not very fair and was very rude to do, especially when Brittany was going to be in the audience and Brittany's going to be there. And listen, I agree with you completely, but are we shocked? No, because Kristen is dirty, nasty, skanky, crazy. An old girlfriend posted, apparently, Jax's dick online after he treated her like dog shit and jaxed her, basically. And that girl ended up tagging everybody on the cast. And that is how Katie knew about it. And Stassi says that all penises look the same, and she had no clue that it was Jax's at all. I think it was crazy. The first person that recognized it was Katie. I thought that was really funny. Brittany is upset that Kristen didn't give her a heads up. And Kristen says it's actually hard to search for a dick pic online. And it's like, no, literally type in the word dick and dicks pop up, girl. Like, what are you talking about? And Kristen gets very defensive and doesn't, like, really apologize. Stassi and Kristen go to Brittany to listen to Stassi's podcast with Jax. And Jax confronts Kristen, and Kristen will not say outright sorry. And Stassi says since this group is so fucked up, they don't always realize what's actually actually appropriate and inappropriate within this group, which clearly that's true. Because when they were in the Hamptons or Montauk or whatever, and like Kristen literally looks at everybody and is like, "Oh, so have you guys all hooked up with each other?" And it's like, no, normal people don't do that, actually. Stassi and Kristen want to try and get James alone to turn on Lala and try to get out as much information as possible about what has been going on with Lala, so they can kind of like expose her, because James is the weakest link in the whole group here. Lala goes over to James and makes fun of him for being sober, which I found really interesting, because obviously we now know that Lala is sober. But it's really funny to me that like she just is so mean to him about him being sober and you know, eating ice cream or whatever. And she's just like, "Oh, we used to party and drink all the time. Like, what's going on?" And like she's always towing this line with James, and it's very disturbing. She always needs to have like a fanboy around. It's like the vibe that I always get with her, is she needs to have some type of fanboy around her, and that's James. And if she doesn't have James, well, she doesn't like that. Lala says her and her dog were at the Beverly Hills Hotel and her mom paid for it. Lala doesn't understand how the girls haven't been on a private jet yet. And we all know that she was with Randall, or she was doing something in regards to Randall. Like, you were not just at the Beverly Hills Hotel doing whatever. Like, get out of here. And your mom did not pay for it. Can someone please put in the comments below what Lala's parents did for work? Because clearly Lala's mom is retired now. But like, I'm sorry, my ear is so itchy right now. It's driving me insane. I think it's allergies. It's driving me nuts. Like, I genuinely need to know what Lala's parents had for jobs, because maybe they were well off and wealthy. I don't know, but I just don't, not that type of wealthy. Not that kind of wealthy. Kristen and Stassi meet up with James to hopefully screw over Lala. Kristen says that all Lala does is talk shit about James, and James is a dumbass and takes the friggin' bait. And James says that he was given an NDA in order to go to Coachella for free and stay in the house that they stayed in while they were there, and says Tom and Ariana probably got an NDA as well and probably had to sign it in order for them to stay at Coachella. So of course that just sets Stassi and Kristen off, and they're in NDA world. They are trying to figure out this NDA situation. Now listen, do I believe that Randall had the NDA situation? Yes. Do I believe that Lala had NDAs? No. I don't think Lala has NDAs. I think Randall has NDAs, and Randall makes Lala sign NDAs in order to get away with the crazy dumbass shit that he was doing to her. We meet Brittany's mom, Sherry, who came in from Kentucky, and she's going to sleep in the bed with Brittany, and Jack's going to sleep on the couch, because that's how we do with our southern moms. Brittany doesn't tell her mom about all the fights and all the great sex that her and Jax have. She kind of lets that part slide underneath, okay? Jax says he doesn't want to raise a kid in LA and wants to go back to Florida, which is like, girl, do not go back to Florida. Like, that place is a fucking hellscape. Let's be for real right now. That place is burning. They should literally chop off Florida and chuck it off into the river. Jack says he doesn't want to raise... I already said that. Sherry wants them to find a church and is asking when that they are going to get married. They've only been together for a year. Sherry, they've only been together for a year. Take a deep breath. And again, this man is a demon. All you have to do is click play on your television screen and can go find all the reasons why he's the worst man on the planet for your daughter. The bridesmaids have decided to rent out a mansion for the bridal shower, and they order Taco Bell and end up making a Taco Bell tower, which in my opinion is absolutely disgusting. How long has that been sitting out there? How long has that been waiting? The amount of diarrhea that's about to happen is astronomical. Sherry said she will be sad if Brittany moved all the way to Kentucky and Jax wasted her time, which I agree. I think that would be really really annoying, which clearly he did. He did waste her fucking time. But that would be really sad if she moved all the way from Kentucky to LA just to get completely screwed over on national television. Spoiler alert, that's exactly what happened. The decor in the house that they rented out for the bridal shower is so weird. It's like haunted and like old school gothic looking. It's really creepy, and like I don't know why out of all the houses that they could have rented out, they rented this one. This one was so weird. They clearly got it off of like an Airbnb or something, but it was just a very weird old looking spot, and like it looked like someone lived there. like, it didn't look like they were renting it out, and it had, like, you know, like when you rent from an Airbnb, all the Airbnbs, they have like basic decor, basic stuff. Like, this looked like someone literally lived there and they were visiting their grandma. It was such a weird vibe. Sherry finally meets LVP, and they talk about Jax being in the South, because we do end up finding out that Jax and Brittany have their you know, Jax and Brittany go to Kentucky or some shit like that. No, I'm not watching that show. That show looked awful, and Jax was a demon on that show. Sherry says that I like Jax. I like him. I really do. And LVP says he's a bad dog, and he doesn't, and hopes he doesn't break Brittany's heart. Once Katie went off book and started not following along with LVP's bullshit, all of a sudden LVP doesn't support Katie and hasn't even been to something about her. Oh yeah, I found it really interesting that LVP was basically for a very long time Katie's like number one supporter, was always there for her, always loved her, always, like, I really do think that she, out of all the girls, I genuinely think that Katie was LVP's favorite. And then all of a sudden, Katie started, like, kind of deferring from the plot and deferring from the same thoughts and opinions as LVP. And that's when everything kind of went off the rails. And LVP, to my knowledge, has still never been to something about her. And I also find it very interesting that Katie and LVP and Ariana have really had, like, a rocky road lately. And now Stassi is doing a show with LVP. And Stassi and Katie are best friends. And Katie is godmother to Stassi's daughter. I just find all of that very, very interesting, because LVP loves to screw a bitch over. LVP got Katie a blow-up doll named Katie. And Katie says it looks a bit like her and LVP. And that's basically Schwartz's dream. I think if Schwartz had the opportunity to LVP, definitely would have let it happen. And I actually think Katie would have let it happen, to be honest with you. Stassi and Katie confront Ariana about the NDA for Coachella, and Ariana says that she definitely did not sign an NDA of any type, and Katie doesn't know why Ariana is still defending Lala, but they try and compare Ariana and Kristen to Lala and Katie, and Ariana shuts that shit down real fast and says she doesn't agree with anything. Lala says, Ariana says that she doesn't always agree with everything that Lala does and says, but Lala says, but isn't going to be like a bitch about it, and isn't going to make her life miserable, and isn't going to try to like ruin her fucking life, which is hilarious to me. Ariana says she's at the bridal shower because she cares about Katie, but she doesn't give a fuck about Stassi or anybody else, and that's why she's there, because they kind of talk about how like she toes the line of being a bridesmaid and a groomsman and a bridesmaid and a groomsman, and the girls really don't like that. It's a kind of like pick a side situation. And she's just like, I don't give a fuck about you. I'm here for Katie. And she doesn't put up with all the other girls' shit and really has her own voice. And the girls have a really hard time with that. Like, they can't manipulate Ariana, and they don't like that.